button. It's the
See it. I see
Are
it.
we all seeing it at the same time this
I
time?
think so. Look at that.
Look
Goodness.
at him. Look at him.
I am ready for the show tonight. If nothing else, I love the title of the book. I'm not going to say what it is, but this is going to be an interesting show tonight.
Yes.
To it, I'm looking forward to
My
it.
cheeks already hurt.
That doesn't take long, Victoria.
No, we laughing.
Oh, but I tell you, we're gonna start like we usually do. We're gonna start with our weekend review, and I'm gonna go first. Ruth, we're gonna put you in the middle
Sure.
tonight, and then Victoria, will put you at the end just before you read not part of, but read a short
Okay.
version of our guest's bio. Bio. This was I don't know. I can't. It just seems like I can't believe that this is the the beginning of another month already.
I know.
Yeah, I know, right? It
Yeah,
felt like
I'm about to-
it took forever to get to February, but now it's starting to pick up steam. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
yeah,
Well, if you guys are ready to go,
we're ready.
I think we can go on and open our program for the evening. And what is it they say all the time? Let's get this party started.
No, I say roll 'em.
All right.
Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to Authors Up, your favorite place to be on Sunday evenings at 7 p.m. I'm not
Yeah.
used to being, am I used to being on this side? I don't think so.
I don't think
Yeah,
so. No, usually I'm on the other side.
yeah.
Right.
I thought
Fix it, Ruth. Fix it, Ruth.
There we go. Is that better?
Okay,
All right.
let's do that fast next time. A little bit. Good evening to you, ladies. Glad to have you. Glad to have you. All of us here tonight. That's what I
Yes,
should
Lord.
say. All
Thank
of
you,
us
Lord.
here.
Thank you.
Nobody's on vacation. Nobody's
Nope.
away for any reason, and it's always good when all of us are here in the house
Yeah, we
together.
missed you, Ruth.
Well, I miss you
Yeah.
guys too.
I
Yeah.
know. We know
I
you
have
guys.
stories.
I know. I can't wait. I should have put you first tonight, but I don't have a lot. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with our
Okay.
week in review. And then Miss Ruth is going to come up, and then Miss Victoria is going to come up. So that's the way we're going to do it today. Now, for me, for my week in review, I have one word for my week in review: change.
Okay. Was it good?
It's
Change.
I feel like with change, you can only make that judgment later.
Okay.
Later. It's interesting though that it came up in the 8 at 8. It was 8 at 8 talked about change. This morning, the pastor talked about change. So there must be something to this whole issue of change.
Wow.
And it was an interesting week. Some things changed in areas that I didn't think they would.
Okay.
Nothing one thing I learned, and I think we always learn something in the midst of change or anything else, but we just don't have to fear change.
Right.
That's what I came away with after a week of things just going helter skelter and here and there. And
Okay.
you know, when you're in the midst of it, you always wonder, do I know what's going on? Am I going to be able to make it all work and make it all happen and all those good things? And in
Mhm.
each time I was faced with it, it's like God would drop a little nugget, or something would happen, or somebody would say something or send something, and it was just like him whispering, I got you.
Amen. Amen.
So whether the change seemed good or whether the change seemed bad, I knew that he was with me, and he just kept giving me evidence that things would be okay. And that's,
Amen.
you know, where you got to be sometimes. Sometimes some things were family things. Some things were professional things. Some
Mhm.
things I haven't quite worked out. I think I have my answer on some things, but I need the God's wisdom
Mhm.
to know exactly how to handle it, what to say, you know, those kinds of things. But for the most part, I am at peace.
Good.
Always a good place to
That's
be.
the best part about it.
Yep, I have no fear.
Amen.
I know that he's, whatever happens, here's the thing, guys, whatever happens, it's not new news to God.
Nope.
Amen.
It
Amen.
may be new news to me.
Amen.
I may not be able to, you know, decipher it all in the moment, but it always draws me back to the fact that God already knew. He
Mhm.
already knew. And if I
Right.
believe he's sovereign, and if I believe that he knows all things, and if I believe he's concerned about everything that concerns me, if I believe all those things, I gotta believe that it's gonna be okay. Because he
Amen.
didn't, what's the sign? He did not bring me this far to leave me.
Amen. That's right.
Okay. That's my sermon for tonight. I'll
All
be
right. All right. And we at 8 or we are officer.
get the Cash App ready. And we go move on from there.
That's
Hey
awesome,
there,
Doc.
Paula Obi. Good evening to you, lady. Glad to have you tonight. So, what you got, Ruth? What was your week like?
Oh,
Oh, we know how to. Go ahead. Talk about it.
no. So last week I went to visit my dad up in New Jersey, and if you remember, this is the I have a 3-year-old sister now.
Yeah.
So she was just as cute and as adorable as a 3-year-old can be. So, which means that she knew she was cute and adorable. She was talking a little bit more, but when she didn't want to talk to you, she made that way known. So, you know,
Okay.
yeah, you know, that's how 3-year-olds are.
Zeros are.
So, and
Exactly.
the cutest thing is that my dad and his girlfriend have been reminding her who I am. So to
Mhm.
me, she sees me and she goes, "Sister." So that is my
Oh,
name to her. And my daughter came along with us. You know, my husband and my daughter came along. I was like, "That's your niece. Can you say niece?" And my
oh.
no, my daughter was like, "Nope, I'm not having this."
Ah,
Because you know she's 22 years older than her auntie, so you know it was
Yeah.
a little weird for her, but it was just it was just really cute, really sweet, and we were just playing with her, and I was holding her, and my daughter, unbeknownst to me, took a video of me playing with her and put it on her TikTok account,
Oh.
and I went viral.
really?
Really, yes, really, and half the people wanted to know. It had over, like, 1.1 million, viewers as of, like, yesterday.
How long
Uh,
is that? Wait, I'm going to find it right now.
Fear of Conformity, that's the account, that's
Oh
my
my
daughter's account.
God.
Follow her while you're on there. But, no, the funny part is after they hit about 100,000 views, people were like, "Okay, I'm not understanding this, I need to see dad." So, of course, she posted a follow-up picture of my dad, and then people were like, "Oh, okay, I get it now." I'm like, "Ew, God, please stop talking about my dad like that." So
Ah.
so I have like over, I think she said it was like 200 something uh comments on there, and half the people were like, "Oh, your dad's hot." And I'm like, "God, that's gross."
Oh my goodness. Ain't that something?
Yeah. So it was yeah, so that was my news for the week. I went viral and a lot of people thought my dad was pretty
Hot.
handsome. And I'm not gonna lie, my dad looks pretty good for a 72-year-old.
Oh
But
wow.
that's the last thing I want to imagine when I talk to
Not
him.
really. Not really.
Yeah, no.
You gotta show me how to get on TikTok then, because I want to
I'm gonna go find it as soon as we get to a break.
want to see that.
I didn't see that.
Yeah.
I missed that one.
Yep. So yeah.
And I'm
so
on the TikTok every day.
Yeah, so follow my daughter's account, Fear of Conformity. She does
I thought
great
I
hair,
was
got
already.
other content, but yeah, so yes, I was.
Yeah,
went
I
viral.
need a tutorial on that if people be following this broadcast, because I hate to miss anything.
I'm gonna find it. But anyway. it's my
Yeah,
turn.
so that was my week in review. I went viral. So Victoria, what did you do?
I can't top that. I got nothing.
Well, we're not
Before you
competing
get-
here.
Before you get to Victoria, one of the funniest things that happened to me last week, Ruth, was you, because there was a video out there of you and your husband. And
Yes.
I don't know whether you were trying to, I don't know what you were trying to do.
So my sister decided she was like, I need to go potty. So I went with her to the bathroom, and I'll have to tell you another story about that one later. I went with her to the bathroom, and then she pull up her diaper back on, and then took off running. I'm like, no, it's New Jersey. It's cold. We putting pants on. I couldn't catch her. So my husband caught her. He's holding her. I'm trying to get the pants on. It's like, I mean, it was just, yes.
Here
we
was the
could not.
funny thing. In this picture, this poor baby is upside down,
Yep.
and they're trying to pull the pants up, and she says, "Help me, help me."
Yeah.
A
So
friend of ours saw it and said, "Look, guys, it hasn't been that long.
That long.
You all just couldn't figure out how to get the pants on this poor little child."
hey, poor little child. She look. Yeah.
She read
so-
y'all ragged, huh?
Yes, she did. We must be rusty because it took us about 10 minutes to get those pants on that child.
That was too funny, too funny. Okay, Victoria, let's go on to you, because our time is going by.
No,
We
I have
gotta
nothing
get
that's
to
going to
you.
top that.
That-
And I'm too busy finding. I found it, and I'm looking at it.
Yeah.
And it over 1.2 million people have watched it. But last week was a little challenging. It was a little challenging, and we're just gonna leave it like that. But thank God I made it. That's the best thing I could say. Thank God I made it. Through many dangers, snares, and toils and snares, I have already come. God he's just a good God, and he brought me through. And that was cemented in church this morning by the message, and just praising God. I'm still here. I'm still here. No matter what I've been through, no matter what it looks like. When it looks like I'm surrounded, I'm still surrounded by him. That thing took hold today, and the tears just flowed. So I'm good. I'm good.
All right. All right.
And with that said, and by the way, I hate that saying. And with that said, anyway. With all that we have said, we have a wonderful guest tonight, and her book is called The Heart Swindler. Michelle Hill is with us. So Michelle Hill is a book and publishing consultant, helping sports and business professionals get their books written, published, and promoted. She is the author of 5 books, including Bathroom Prayers, Inspiring Thoughts While You're on the Pot, from pen to publish, and 2 best-selling, multiple award-winning children's books, Giselle's Silly Soggy Day and Giselle's Whimsical Wintry Day. Michelle's latest best-selling book, The Heart Swindler, Reclaim your heart and stop falling for liars, losers, and lunatics. Educates women on romance scammers, online dating predators, future fakers, and narcissistic abusers. This book empowers women with stories by real life survivors and equips women with resources to recover and reclaim their heart. Well, after the break, you will get to meet one of our favorite authors, Michelle Hill. We'll be right back.
Hi, Michelle.
Yes.
Hi, everybody.
Welcome back.
Thank you. This is my third time, and I feel more honored every time. So thank you for
Glad
having
to
me.
have you. Welcome, welcome.
Indeed, indeed. Boy, I tell you, this. I can't wait to get into this book. Boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Well, Michelle, you've been here before, so you know how we go. But I wanted to ask you, New Year, how's that going for you?
It has been the best new year, and the first quarter isn't even done yet. And
Nope.
I've had a wonderful first month and a few days. And I'm just reveling in new clients. And I took on a extra starting in March, a publishing coordinator position, a part-time virtual position with one of my teammates. Super excited about that. And just life is awesome.
Well, good. We're
All
so
right.
glad to hear that.
Yay.
So part of what's new with you as well is that you have a new book, The Heart Swindler. And your tagline is reclaim your heart and stop falling for liars, losers, and lunatics. And I think we can all say that we know somebody like that.
Yes.
So a book like this is usually personal, to whatever degree of experience. Now, tell us about it and what inspired you to write it.
Yes. Well, the most inspiring books are based on real life experiences, as most of us know. So I have two experiences, one from way back when I was first divorced, been married since age 20, didn't know anything, and I was 43. So I went online dating for the first time ever. And I am a survivor because I will not use the word victim. It's
All right.
empowering.
Good for you.
Yeah. So I am a survivor of a online romance predator. He got me for $2,500, which seems like it was a lot to me at the time, but
Right.
the attorney he got before me was like $18,000.
Oh,
I've
wow.
met 3 of his ex-wives. He's been married 5 times. And that was my first experience.
Wow.
And then just more recently, January of 2023. And when you're taken by an online predator, that just happens once because you know the signs after that. I
Mhm.
wasn't ready for the gym. This fine brother came up to me and said, "Hey."
And you say, "Hey," back, huh?
I said, "Hey." We struck up a conversation, and it just, he love bombed me in a huge way. And we can talk more about that specific thing. And it had a 2-month shelf life because my spirit was unsettled almost from the beginning, even though I enjoyed some of the attention, of course, all that. But that was the most recent one. No money involved, never any asking for money. I think that was more for emotional manipulation, which a lot of them do just to get another woman to say, "I love you,"
Wow.
just to get another woman's heart captured. So
Right.
that I have a lot of personal experience. I've done a lot of research on narcissistic abuse. I've had experience with that as well. And I will self-confess, I have that personality that attracts these type of predators. And I know that, and I have to be ultra vigilant because they are attracted to kind, caring, nurturing people. And I know I'm that. And so they, even though you don't say anything, they sense that in their spidey senses or whatever it is,
Right.
even without you saying anything.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay, so I'll say it was an easy read. You have a great storytelling voice. Let me ask this: do you believe that this has always been an issue, or are we seeing it now more so because of the state that our world is in? You know, online dating. You know, the feminist views, feminist emancipation versus male toxicity. You know, all of that. What is your take on that?
Yeah, I think it's always been an issue, but I think since, and I've read the statistics, since 2020, it has risen by 600-700% as
Okay.
far as online scammers, because people are just seeking connection so bad
Yeah.
that it's more of an issue now. And believe it or not, even though there's a ton of information out there that you can Google anything, even though the Google sphere isn't always accurate. We know that. But people, women especially, are still giving away life fortunes and selling their houses in search of love. And that just, it aches my heart.
Oh yeah.
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 And the fact that they know that and they know they can exploit that's
Right.
the worst part. So you made a point of making a distinction between a liar, a loser, and a lunatic. Is it important to note that?
That is a really great question. And I think all of those intersect.
Yeah.
You can be, and this, I want to preface this by saying this does not only happen to women. And my sequel to this is going to be men's stories, because
I love that.
this happens to men as well.
Okay.
You know, no matter what. But to answer your question, they're intersecting. Liars are liars. Compulsive liars, pathological liars are always liars. They're not necessarily lunatics, but they can be. Losers are probably both liars and lunatics. Lunatics, you know, they all intersect and are woven together.
Yeah.
And that's all I can say, is that they're all interwoven, but they can stand separately as well, especially the liars. They permeate everything, no matter what they do.
Yeah. And like you said, it may not always be about money. It may be just about the control or manipulation part of it. So, and I'm sure that plays into what each of them are. So,
Yes.
So tell us about the other voices in the book, because they're not all your stories. What made you want to include them?
Yes, I asked a longtime good friend of mine, and she told her story. Now, to protect identities, I won't say which story, of course, but her story is in there. She has her story is the I think it's under the lunatic section, where she was married to a long-term narcissistic man for over 20 years.
Wow.
My daughter's story is in there. My daughter came forth and said, "Hey, I want to tell my story." Her story is in there. And I had an executive coach that her story is more toward the beginning. I believe, her story might be maybe the first story. So I just asked, and there were plenty of other women who said, "Oh, I want to tell my story. I want to tell my story." But I wanted an easy, fast read. I didn't want a big, thick book that people intended to read, but would never read it.
Okay. So what was it like writing your personal experience?
Oh, cathartic for sure.
Okay.
I had told bits and pieces of my stories, of course, and my inner circle knew about the gym, I'll call him the gym man, because I was saying something, this is what he's doing, but something doesn't feel right. And then I have a long time, like 20 plus years, male friend. And I was saying, yeah, he brought over this pack of perfume and told me to smell each one and that he would buy it for me. And that, what did he say? It was like $350, $450 an ounce. That doesn't impress me. I'm the one that rather have the blender. I'm that boring. But it better be a really nice blender. So that, but I still went along with the game. But I told my friend that, and he goes, oh, take it from a former womanizer. That's classic player paraphernalia. That's what players do. I don't know about that because I haven't been really out there in the dating world much. So I did not know that. But that's what happened. Now I don't know if I answered your question or not.
Oh yeah. No, and I wanted to ask, is it it feels like this is maybe your mission now. As I was finishing it up, I got the sense that this was only the beginning for you when it comes to this topic, whoever reads your book, for your audience.
I believe that. I believe it's an additional mission because I get fired up with excitement when people say I have a book idea, and I like that. But this is an additional mission to there's so many women out there with broken hearts that have given away everything that now owe $100,000. You have to pay that back. And so I want to help heal their hearts. And I am living proof that you can reclaim your heart. That's the subtitle, because you have to do the work, but you can reclaim your heart. And some of these women don't think they can go on. They're still obsessed with their perpetrator, almost like Stockholm syndrome, where they're protected.
Yeah. Well, I think I'd still be a little hurt for $100,000. I'd still be a little mad too.
Yeah.
All right, Michelle, I'm going to hand you over to Andrea.
Yes.
It is unfortunate that this topic is, I won't say popular because that's not the right term, but just to know that it is so prevalent. I think I'll put it that way. So prevalent, and that so many people are just in not just heart spaces, but head spaces, and just all kinds of areas that it is just not easy to recover from.
Right.
Particularly when one of these individuals is in that I'm going to make you pay category. And I don't know whether that falls under the liar, the loser, or the lunatic, but there are some out there that, you're not going to get away from me, and those kinds of things. And that is heart-wrenching sometimes, because, and like you said, though, Michelle, it's not, it doesn't fit any one person or any one personality type. I mean, these can be well-educated women. It can be somebody that never got their GED. I mean, it's just kind of all over the place. And I wanted you to talk about one of your experience. You were talking about the gym man. Your friends, because sometimes our friends can see what we can't see.
Yeah.
How easy is it to walk away from that good advice? They're telling you, look, this is player paraphernalia. They're telling you, look, just see this for what it is, or whatever. How easy was it? Did you immediately turn a deaf ear to that and say, oh, you don't understand him, which is what a lot of us do? Or was it, let me take this under advisement and step back a little bit and, see what's really going on here? How did that work for you?
Yeah, and that is such an interesting question because most of the time in hearing, and I listen to a lot of stories, usually you don't want to hear anybody who's raining on your parade. No, this person loves me. He has professed his love for me. And I don't want to hear anybody, you're just trying to sabotage me. You don't want me, all the responses. But when your gut says something is off, then you want to listen. When my friend said that, it was like, really? Because I tend to sway on the naive side, which it works to my detriment a lot. I'm thankful for it because I'm not a worldly wise woman, and I'm thankful for that. But I was surprised. I didn't know that's classic player paraphernalia. Say that fast 3 times. I can't even say it once, but I was surprised. Like, I didn't know that. I was just taking it at face value. And often when you're just a tad naive, you believe that other people are as honest and forthright as you are, and they're not. And that's unfortunate because you don't want it to taint you with every other relationship that might come along.
Let me ask you this too. A lot of times, since you've been through these scenarios, how easy is it for you to wave the flag for somebody else? As a lot of times we'll see things and we're reluctant to tell the person, you know what, this is lunatic category here. You better watch out, better be careful. How it's like when they always say if you have a friend and you know that friend's partner is being unfaithful or in some way, do you tell them, or do you hope they find out on their own? Is it worth risking the friendship because you know they're not going to believe you? Or do you care about any of that? If you see somebody, a friend of yours, going down that road, how quick are you to speak up and speak out, since there's some things you know now that you didn't know then that might keep them from making the same mistake?
Yes, I will always err on the side of throwing the lifeline and being honest and just say, hey, I've made some observations that I'm just going to share with you. You can do whatever you want with them, but I'm going to share some observations that I have made. Name those observations and try to be as neutral as possible, because you don't want to attack the other person and say, you're so stupid. How can you be so stupid? You don't want to be verbally abusive.
Y'all better tell me.
It's like, come on, man. So you just want to approach it gently. But yes, I would be, if I saw somebody like that was going down that path, I would definitely attempt to throw them a lifeline, make some observations, and maybe quote some facts, and just try to get them to just think about things in a different way.
You had along with this book too, you had 2 bonus books, which I thought was awesome. You have some references, one that has references and the other that had 8 self-care ways to heal from the deception. And I know they're setting boundaries, and I'm reading a couple of them here: prioritizing your mental health things and seeking support. What of the 8 things that you had listed, what do you think is like right up there at the top of the list when somebody is trying to heal from having had this happen?
Yeah, I think the top of the list, those 8 things, and I can send the links or include, I don't know if I did already, but I will email Ruth the links to the bonuses. But I think the top thing is, don't blame yourself. You know, these manipulators are professionals, especially the online romance scammers. They work in tandem. They're professionals. That's how they survive. And so just don't blame yourself. Could I have done something different? Why did I do this? And turn it on yourself and just start eating up yourself with guilt and shame and all that. They're professionals. And like, just like in the book, I'm sure you read, Bernie Madoff, all of his thousands and thousands of financial targets, you know, they didn't know. They believed his sales pitch. It was nothing they did. It was just they believed his promises. And that's exactly with romance scammers. They believe the promises. That doesn't mean it's their fault. Mm-hmm. So just stop the self-blame. And if a friend came to you and said, oh, I feel so bad, I was the target of a romance scam, you wouldn't take a club and beat them over the head. You would show them care and nurturing and some compassion. Do that same thing for yourself.
Yeah. And I want you to touch on one other thing. I don't want to take up all your time because I know Victoria's got some.
No, this is good stuff right here. Go ahead.
But I had been reading some other things, and in your book you mentioned it as well. We talked about it a little bit before the show, the issue of money. And I have seen different programs where they've talked about the scammers, and particularly online, and how I need my passport, I need my visa, I can't get it here, and the money just it's like there's holes in a bag. It just keeps going and going and going. And that seems to me to be one of the really, really, really big red flags. That's like a banner. It's like a huge poster that's waving back and forth. But you had that instance, and it reminded me of the situation that I had as well. But talk about the money part.
Yes, absolutely. And when you have never gone through it, you don't know what to look for. These are things that I learned in hindsight after the first one, in right after a long-term marriage, went online dating, all that. And so they don't start. Often the first tip off is that they're in Europe. They're not accessible. Usually they will have a high ranking official title, because they know that women are kind of attracted to men who are in authority. And that's just a fact. That's not my opinion. Mm-hmm. And, so they will, Jim Man said he was a canine cop. They like positions. They like to promote their positions as positions of authority. And so they establish that first. And after that, they will immediately give you a pet name, because they're often, especially the ones out of Nigeria and Russia, they are working several targets at one time. Wow. And they will give you a pet name like Honey and Baby Cakes and Sweetheart, because they don't want to confuse your name and show their hand, give up their gig, give up their identity. So they will give you and always call you by pet names. Then they will ask for a little bit of money. They're in an emergency, just as you said, Andrea. They're in an emergency. They need a visa. They can't get through security. One guy just said his daughter needed an emergency operation. Anything and everything they will use. But that's not the first or second time they talk to you. They have established a rapport with you already. They have professed their love to you. Right. They have said that you're the one for them. They might have even proposed and have talked about a future. And then so there's a trust level there. And then it's the money. Right. Can you give me this or that? Oh, I need this. I wouldn't ask you. My money's tied up. I can't get to my card isn't working. And by that time, that's why these guys rarely go to jail and are rarely convicted, because the women are willingly giving them their credit card money, or they're willingly giving them money. Wow. So they start with little, they build up and build up. And as the Netflix Tinder swindler special, these women owed $100,000 when it was all said and done, because that guy isn't going to pay him back. There's no restitution most of the time. You borrowed that money to pay a swindler, so you have to pay that back. And they were up to their head, the top of their heads in debt, just struggling, trying to pay it back.
Wow.
Somebody better be having that operation somewhere.
Or would be. You got through with them.
Well, what they're doing too, Victoria, is they're using the money that you're giving them to fund their current
or their lifestyle or whatever they're using with it,
Yes.
Oh my gosh, Jesus.
Yep. Ooh, okay, Victoria.
I know we're getting close. We could talk in a whole nother hour. I just want to say that I really applaud you for taking on a subject matter like this and for being willing to reach back and help somebody else. Mm-hmm. Because it's very important. I am a survivor of domestic violence. And I haven't talked about it as much as I probably should in order to help somebody else. And being a victim of it, I was profoundly embarrassed. I would have people say to me, I don't believe you let him do that to you. And I would just cringe inside, and I think that's probably why I don't talk about it, is because of the response that I have up to this point. How did I let him slap me around? How did I let him throw me against the wall? How did I fight a 6-foot person? And then you have women who say, well, that wouldn't have been me because honey, he'd have been hurt too. And you get all that. And so I was embarrassed, and that's why I say I applaud you for being forthright about your story and wanting to help other people, take the shame out of it, take the embarrassment out of it, because it could happen to anyone, and sitting here looking at you and me, you would never, ever think that something like that happened to us, but it does happen. And I think that we have to warn other people about it. And I just applaud you so much. I also recently divorced, and the first chapter I went to was what chapter was that? Newly divorced, newly single. I thought you're gonna tell me something, but I have absolutely no desire to sign up for an online dating service. I just don't. That is just
Don't do it. Don't do it.
I'm not gonna read that book. But I have no desire to. So it's like if it happens, it happens. If God sends somebody, God's gonna have to have a neon sign over him or something, because it's just scary. It's scary, the whole getting to know you again and knowing me and all that. I just ain't with it. But I think my one question is, I'm going to take one question off of it here. Well, I think we talked about it. Was it difficult for you to put yourself out there? And what made you decide? You talked about the bonus books. I was going to talk about the bonus books. What made you decide to offer the bonus books rather than putting that information directly into the Heart Swindler or another book?
I love that question, because I had one of the bonuses in the book, and I have an industry mentor that really has been an invaluable source of information for me. And she's the one that said, no, take that out, offer it as a bonus along with your self-care, 8 ways for, to heal, and the self-care part. And so I did have it as part of the book. And she's the one that advised me, and I just so wholly and solely respect her industry experience. And so
Mhm.
I thought, you know what? I'm glad I did, because those resources, there are reporting websites and reporting phone numbers. They're, you know, all just a page and a half, I think, at least, of resources that people
Good.
can read and absorb and find out you're not the crazy one. And to your point before, there is strength and vulnerability.
Right.
And it is scary, because when I was a survivor of the first one, my family was the one saying, stupid, saying, just shaming and
Wow.
stuff like that. And so I know what that feels like.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's not what you need when you are broken, when you thought,
Right.
and you know what? It wasn't the money. And I know I'm diverting from your question, but it
No,
wasn't
no,
the
that's
money.
fine.
It was the illusion of love. It was the illusion of someone saying that they loved you and believing it,
Yes.
then knowing it was
Yes.
an illusion, it wasn't real. That was the hardest part to get over. And that's why I choose to be vulnerable now. And it's still scary, because
Yeah.
you still get the judgment of people.
Mhm.
That's just going to happen. But you know what? Who cares? I'm at the age just like, who cares?
Well, I applaud you. I definitely applaud you for that. And if you had to give a message to someone who's just going through it, what would you tell them tonight?
Oh, I would say do your homework. And it's not even a matter of asking the right questions to who you are with, because you can ask all the right questions and they can really skillfully lie their way through it. So it's not
Right.
about that. It's just surrounding yourself. I would tell them, just surround yourself with people that love you, that are willing to walk with you through this experience, and friends that are willing to tell you the truth in love,
Yeah.
because the faithful are the wounds of a friend.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a couple of friends that it was painful to hear what they said, but in the end, yeah,
Right.
it helped. It helped a
Yeah.
lot.
Good. Well, where can our listeners and our viewers find you, and where could they find this beautiful book that will help them?
Well, thank you. I have a website dedicated for the Heart Swindler. It's heartswindler.com. And tomorrow is my day to update my blogs, but I have several blogs on there already that deal with heart swindlers and narcissistic abusers.
Wow.
And so they can go on there and read the blogs, and I have information on there. I offer heart restoration conversations, that if somebody is going through it or just off of a destructive relationship or heart swindler situation, I can listen. I'm not a talking head licensed psychologist that's going to paint by number lead them through. I've been in the trenches, and I can listen empathetically. I can offer some guidance. I can offer some tips. I can walk with them, sit in the mud a little bit, but not leave them in the mud.
Gotcha.
Get them out.
Gotcha.
So yeah, they can go to the Heart Swindler, and my email for that is michelle@heartswindler.com.
I've got one other thing that I want to say about that regarding your bonus books. And Laurie said, what about seeing the red flags? Laurie, can you go a little bit deeper? Are you asking us what some of the red flags are, or are you asking what do you do when you see the red flags? If you can clarify that, we might be able to get you an answer tonight. I wanted to say, what did I want to say? I wanted to say something
about the bonus books. You were saying about
the bonus book. I like the idea of the bonus book, and I'll tell you why. As a reader of the book, it said to me that you told me a great story, but you didn't want to leave me there.
Right.
Sometimes we can point out the brokenness, but we leave people in that brokenness.
Mhm.
And this was a way to say that this author cares enough about me to want to go an extra mile and provide me with something other than just the book that will help me to get over it and help me to heal.
Yes.
And so I think whoever your friend was that led you in that direction, it was absolutely, at least for this reader, the right thing to do.
Amen.
Really, really did appreciate that. Let's see what Laura said. Oh, what do you do when you see the red flags?
Run, Felicia.
Yeah. How fast can you run?
Run, Forrest, run.
Yes. If you see the red flags, which are a love bombing, sometimes they pretend to like everything you like Jim Man. He said he was from New York. And when I said I was a Dallas Cowboy fan, he said, "Oh, that's my favorite team too." Nobody from New York is ever gonna love the Dallas Cowboys ever. And so, that was a strip off.
Except me.
Okay.
She handed in her New York card though. So.
I did.
So, they promise lavish gifts and trips. So anytime they are trapping you in their cycle and you kind of see, okay, and I have the 10 red flags you absolutely positively must watch out for in the book itself. And the first thing they do is, I'm out, run.
Get the book. Get the book.
Get the book. Thank you.
Get the book.
Yeah, you don't want to stay in that 1 second
Right.
longer. It's not worth it. It's not worth your mental sanity. It's not worth your emotional health. Just get out of there. No explanation needed. I'm going in a different direction, and it doesn't include you.
Exactly.
And
All
you
right.
know
I
what?
love that.
Usually when you do that early on, they don't pursue.
Right.
Mhm.
It's only the predator, the true predator, that pursues. At least I've found that out in, just listening to people and having experiences myself. If you're not willing, if you are willing, because I think sometimes it's the risk. We don't want to lose out on love. What if I'm wrong? What if I'm turning away from this person and he really, really, really does love me? But if you cut that off and it doesn't matter, if you can get yourself in that posture to be able to say to that person and let that person know, like I had to do in my instance, I like you, but I'm not going to pay for liking you.
Come on now.
So it's not that deep for me. So that's the direction we're going in. We're done. If you can get yourself there emotionally, you can escape early. You can get out early unscathed with your heart still intact and move on. And
Yes. And don't make every other man you meet pay for what you've been through. Do the healing work. Heal yourself. Take some time.
Yeah.
Sanctified loneliness is not a bad thing. But don't make
sanctified loneliness.
I love that. Say that again. Say that again for the people in the back.
Sanctified loneliness is not a bad thing.
I'm in the back. I'm in the back and the front. Love it. Thank you.
Michelle, I tell you what, this is much needed. We hate to admit that it's much needed, but it is much needed on some level. On some level, I would dare to venture that most women have been through some of these red flags, have seen them in some cases, in some scenarios. And it is good to know that you can survive, and not only survive, but you can heal, you can be healthy, you can learn to laugh again.
Amen.
Live your life away from the lunatics and the liars and what's that other L?
Losers.
The losers. We can't.
That's right.
We can be free. So thank you so much. I want to have you back when the men's story
Yes.
Yes.
released, because I know that is going to be an incredible book.
I can't wait to tackle that. I already have some stories that are percolating, and
Oh, wow.
that will be in the, I don't know when it's going to come out, but stories are percolating now.
Awesome.
All right.
You, good
Can't
for
wait to hear it.
you.
Yes, yes.
We love your children's books and we love the adult ones too.
Thank you
you
so much. Thank you so much, Michelle, for being with us tonight. We had a couple of little bumps in the road, but I'm going to tell you, well worth the wait. Well worth the wait. I'm so happy that you were able to come back with us. And we thank those of you who joined in tonight. Look, if you know somebody who needs this information, just get them to the replay. Let them come back to the replay and listen to this, because I'm telling you, it is going to be very, very helpful for them and for you. It's good to know these things, even if you're not in the midst of that situation right now. You never know. You never know. So that's it for us this evening. Thank you all for joining Authors Up. We've made it our favorite place to be at 7 p.m. on Sunday evenings, and we hope that you will make it your favorite place to be as well. Come on back next week. We can't tell you what you're going to find, because you never know what's going to happen when you tune into Authors Up. So we hope that everybody has an absolutely amazing week. Thank you again, Michelle. Just can't thank you enough for sharing tonight and for writing such an insightful book. So that's it for us for the evening. Guys, have Ruth or Victoria, either of you have any final comments for the evening? Victoria?
Just to let you know where to find us. We are on social media, on Facebook, on Instagram, and YouTube. You can just search for Authors Up Show. You can also download a podcast. We are available on wherever you get your podcasts. Again, just look for Authors Up Show. If you want to be a guest on this show, or if you have any questions or comments, you can email us at authorsup@gmail.com.
All righty. I knew I forgot something. Thank you for keeping us on track. That is it. Everybody have an absolutely amazing week. And hopefully we'll see you right back here next Sunday evening at 7 p.m. So good night, everybody. And thanks again, Michelle.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you, ladies.